Well, the college started in the late 1950s, and all the classes were held in the Catonsville Junior High and Catonsville Senior High School classrooms at night. Then the college bought what was the Hilton Estate and began to build buildings. At the time, the faculty was, as you would imagine, very small. All the faculty meetings could be held in what is now the president's office in the mansion. The faculty dramatically increased, and from 1969 to 1970, the student body just exploded, so to speak. And just as an example, there were 21 just English faculty hired in the years 1969-1970 combined. And I don't think we've hired that, well, I know we haven't hired that many English faculty in all the years since then. So it was a tremendous growth. Faculty meetings were then held in the K building, and so the faculty had outgrown the mansion. In fact, all the faculty offices were in the mansion. The classroom building, the G building, which has about 21 classrooms, hadn't been built yet. So when I started teaching there in the fall of 1970, there weren't enough classrooms. So the college rented tents, and they were yellow and white and red and white circus-style tents, which they put up on the campus. And it was quite an adventure because they were on a hill. And when it would rain really hard, at some point during the day, a wall of water, much like the recent tsunami, not quite as big, of course, would come down the hill and rush through the classrooms that we'd have to evacuate. One day we were attacked by swarms of bees, which came into the tents, and everybody had to jump and run outside. It was quite an adventure. A lot of other exciting things there. The buildings, of course, weren't all built at the same time. At first, there was no gymnasium. So classes for physical education were held at the old Banneker High School off of Bloomsbury Avenue in Catonsville. And students would either drive their own cars or would take a shuttle bus. There wasn't enough parking at first on the main campus. So the old North Point, I'm on the wrong side of the county, the Edmondson Drive-In movie theater parking lot was used for our students, and yellow school buses ran back and forth between the campus and the parking lot throughout the day and evening. In the 1970s, there was the famous gas crisis that some older folks will remember. And our president, Dr. Barringer, decided that the students needed buses to get to the campus because there was such a shortage of gasoline. So he petitioned the MTA to start a bus line. Well, they didn't want to have anything to do with it. So Dr. Barringer rented buses and ran them from Security Mall area to the campus, and all people could ride for free. So many faculty and students did. Well, the MTA got very upset about this. They accused us of trying to steal their franchise on buses. So all of a sudden, the number 77 bus line appeared, which is running to this day. We had some really unusual classes, and one of them was in horseback riding. And once or twice a week, a big van would pull up behind what is now the G and K buildings and unload some horses, and the instructor would come out, and the students would come out and climb up on the horses and ride off into the woods, which are now fenced in, so you really couldn't do that today. And, of course, sometimes the parking lot had to be cleaned up after the horses had been there. One faculty member, even during a bad snowstorm, Nelson Node was his name, he taught martial arts. He was also famous in the Catonsville area for his music store. But anyway, Nelson came to the campus that day on his horse because of the snow, tied it up outside the gym, and went in and taught his classes. I always find that amusing when I think now how schools are closed when the first drop of snow falls. Some other things that were funny during all those years and strange kinds of experiences. Two faculty members were actually married on the lawn outside the mansion, and everybody was invited to come in what I guess you'd call gay 90s costumes. That was an exciting day for many people. Camp Heritage for Kids was started, and I think it still goes on. It was very popular. Every year for the first several years, though, sometime during the 2 weeks that a group of kids would be there, a streaker would run through the camp, and he was never caught. So whoever he was, he got away with it every year. These student touch football games, but they were stopped finally by Dr. Barringer because they got so rough that students were being seriously injured by faculty members, and Dr. Barringer put a halt to the football games. And there was just a lot of fun and a lot of, I guess, growth, excitement going on at the college for all those many years, and I was very happy to be a part of it. Well, I think the thing that I've noticed most often is since the college has become merged and become one large organization, we used to have close contact on a regular basis with all members of the administration and the faculty. We would see the president. He would appear in our offices. Our deans, we were very close to them. They were people who were very close to the faculty. And I think all that's been lost. And you have a sense that you're, as a faculty member, you're working in your individual area, you're working in your office, but the members of the administration are on the 22nd floor, so to speak, of the building, and you're only on the first floor. And that kind of friendship where we were friends and we argued and we debated pedagogical issues and so forth, but then when the day was over and the decision was made, we were friends again, so to speak. It wasn't held personally. I think people now get the feeling quite often that you have to agree with what has been decided by other people, and that dissent is not sought or is not tolerated. And I would pass that on to future generations to be open to disagree and yet keep on moving and not let things grind to a halt and get this adversarial relationship that I think people feel they have now with the administration.